Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing great, and today is another video where I talk about my upcoming TBR, what I'm going to read in the next month of April. I have two main books that I am so excited to read. The first one is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jenson. I'm so in love with this Fairyloot edition, and I cannot wait to get into this world. This is a new adult fantasy romance series. This is going to be the first book, of course, in the series. I usually wait until we are closer to the release date of the second book, but I cannot wait. I'm anticipating this one, and I really want to know what is going on, the themes and everything that is handled in this book. And I want to get to know the world and the characters, so I'm picking it up now, and maybe I will do probably a reread when the second book is close. This is a Norse-inspired fantasy romance, and we follow Freya. She's blessed by the gods, and because of that, she's what they call a shield maiden. And her magic is capable of protecting and repelling any attack. And because of her powers, she becomes trapped in a union with a power-hungry Jarl, who is convinced she's fated to make him king. So he binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Björn, his son, to protect her from their enemies. And she starts to learn how to control her magic and fight in order to survive. And at the same time, her feelings start to grow for the Jarl's son, who is also gifted by the gods. So obviously we have a forbidden romance. I hope we get some spice and a unique magic system. And I'm just so excited to dive into this. The next book that I'm going to read, I'm so anticipating this one too. The time has finally come. I'm finally doing this and attacking this weapon of a book. Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. I don't know much about the plot of this book. I kind of just want to explore it for myself and enjoy the ride as I go. All I know is that it is a very dark post-apocalyptic story that is very unique and not for everyone, and that is about what would happen if vampires took over the world. People who read it said it was a very immersive and action-packed read, and it was very well paced, and more importantly is that it ends on a terrible cliffhanger, and that was the only thing that held me from reading this book. And now, since Empire of the Damned already released, I'm finally doing this. I'm going to dive into this. I'm so excited but scared at the same time, because I put this on my 5-star predictions of the year. So if you haven't watched that video yet, go watch it. It was so fun to film, and I will link it down below. And I really do hope that this book lives up to my expectations and to the hype. Next up, I'm going to read a book that I have put on my 2024 TBR. It is also one book that I bought in my Fairy Trove huge buy that I did. This is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. It is a YA fantasy, and it is a retelling of a Korean folk story. We follow Mina, who lives in a town where deadly storms threaten their survival consistently, and the people believe that the sea god who was once their protector is now cursing them. So to try to gain his favor again, each year a beautiful maiden is thrown into the sea to serve as the sea god's bride, in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and end the suffering. And Mina was not chosen in this book, but her brother's fiance was, and her brother followed them to try to stop the ritual, even knowing that to interfere is a death sentence. And in order to try to save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water instead. She then ends up finding the sea god caught in an enchanted sleep, so she sets out to wake him and bring an end to the killer storms once and for all. And as I said, this has been on my TBR for the longest time, and I know it's a favorite for a lot of people and for a lot of you guys too. So I really want to join you basically. So hopefully I'm going to read this this month, and it's not too long, so it's perfect for this month. So yeah, definitely The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is happening in April. Next up, I decided to pick up It Is Time the sequel has already come out and I have it. The Luminaries, it's a YA urban fantasy, and this also has been on my TBR for the longest time. I have been meaning to read this last fall, but it just didn't happen. But it has to happen this month, okay? This is the perfect timing to read this book now, because I have a long read with The Empire of the Vampire, and this is not that long. So I try to just add some books that are on the shorter side, because I know that that book would just take a huge chunk of the month. So the setting of the book is that we are in a town called Hemlock Falls, and Hemlock Falls is not like other towns. You won't find it on a map. They don't have phone service. The forests outside the town are very dangerous and deadly. And we are following Winnie Wednesday, who wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, who are the ancient order that protects Winnie's town and also the rest of the humanity from the monsters and nightmares that rise in the forest of Hemlock Falls every night. But ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, Winnie and her family have been shunned, but on her 16th birthday, she can take the deadly luminary hunter trials and prove herself true and loyal and restore her family's good name. This is supposed to be a fun, fast-paced, supernatural mystery, and I'm so happy that I get to finally read it this month. The next book that I decided to add to my April TBR pile is Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan. This is the cutest cover ever. This got released last November and I have been wanting to pick it up since, but I think this TBR is the perfect chance to read this, since I'm reading, again, Empire of the Vampire, which is quite a heavy read and touches upon very heavy, serious themes. I thought I will balance my TBR with two lighter books. This one is the first lighter book. The second one I will talk about it a little bit later. So Do Your Worst is an adult enemies to lovers contemporary romance. We follow Riley, who is hired to break the curse of a haunted Scottish castle, where she meets Clark, who is an archaeologist and who doesn't believe in anything you can't prove with science and facts. So he tries to get rid of her and get her fired, and I heard it is full of banter and good humor, and I'm just here for all of that. And the next lighter book that I decided to pick up is a contemporary romance. It is The X-Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I received these books, I think last summer, but still haven't read them yet. And I'm giving myself a chance to read more from the books that I already own. As you already know, I'm trying to read as much as possible from my physical TBR. So I'm going to read this one too as the second lighter book for the month. And as I said, this is a contemporary romance. In this book, we follow Shay, who is nearing 30 and feeling like she is still trying to figure out how to be an adult. Aren't we all? And she's been working at this radio station for 10 years. And on the other side, we have Dominic, who is a bit younger than her. He's just graduated with a journalism master's degree and he's new at her radio station, but he thinks that he already knows everything. So when the struggling station needs a new concept, Shay proposes a show to her boss that is called The X-Talk. Two exes will deliver relationship advice on air live, and their boss decides that Shay and Dominic are the perfect co-hosts, given how much they already despise each other. People who read this book said that the characters are to die for, and it was so much fun to read. And since I already own it, as you see, this is the perfect timing to read it, to just lighten up the mood. I mean, the premise of the book is already too funny for me, so I think I'm going to enjoy this one a lot. And yeah, that was it for me today, book besties. I tried not to add a lot of books to my TBR this month. Keep it light because, again, Empire of the Vampire is a chunker and it will take most of my time probably, and I didn't want to feel stressed throughout the month to finish my TBR, and if I end up reading more, it will be a nice surprise, and if I don't, I'm happy with my list. So if you made it this far, leave me the microphone emoji. And if you like the video, you know what to do. Subscribe and join the beautiful, beautiful community of book besties here. Thank you again for watching so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!